What is up, my friends? Jesse with Just Man Sports Cards. Today, I'm going to share a podcast that I came across about collecting. One of my favorite chefs. Loved a lot of shows that he's put out on Netflix and other media. But he actually talks about collecting. He also talks about collecting sports cards. So I'll show you a couple clips, but I recommend you go checking this out on Spotify to give him proper credit and give him the notoriety for it because it is his content. But I want to share a couple clips because it is someone famous, well known. So we'll start it. The first part. He starts about collecting like restaurant items, which I thought was really interesting. And then so we'll go for about 2 to 3 minutes there, and then I'll jump to the next part where he talks about collecting sports cards or kind of how he first got into it. And then there's another part with a guest. I didn't find that as interesting, but if you want to check out that whole piece, go for it. So we'll blow it up here, and I'll jump to what I thought some were the best parts.
Other parts of culture that I'm sure that are going to lose its cultural cachet, like taking photos, right? It's just not something you can collect anymore.
Yeah.
I do think that there's been an uptick from other restaurant owners and chefs that I've spoken to. And I don't know if there's a correlation, but I'm just saying, and this is something that's always been problematic in the bane of restaurants, is thievery.
Oh, yeah, big time.
So it's interesting to me that more people that I know are complaining about lost silverware, just random tchotchkes that are being taken from the bathrooms, whatever. There's a increase of that and a decrease in, digital memorabilia.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this is probably like where we're going to see more and more things happen, where the emphasis is going to be less about this thing that is not tangible and how can I hold on to something that is, I can tell a story when someone comes to my home or apartment, like, look what I have.
Right.
And thievery in restaurants has been.
I mean, it's been forever, but it's interesting to hear that it's become more of a trend. Right.
And again, I don't have any data. I'm just, when I talk to people.
Yeah. Were you a menu collector?
I didn't give a shit about menus.
You never.
Listen, there are people. So just to back up, for cooks' perspective, I know cooks that would always want to steal a spoon at every restaurant they ate at.
Mm-hmm.
Many cooks would do this, right? It's not even about thinking twice about it. If you went to a restaurant that you wanted to eat at, you were stealing some kind of silverware.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds crazy, but you're actually not doing it out of thievery. You're doing it out of respect, which is mental to say out loud.
Sure.
But you wanted to collect it. Some people would get menu signed, and I think if you have a great collection, like if you're a real gourmand, I don't think it was really a cook's thing. You'd get it autographed, you get it framed. And if you have enough of those, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Some could be like corks from wine, but it's these physical, tangible matchboxes.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's maybe toothpicks. But I think really what you want is something that you are not allowed to have.
Yeah. Something that was not intended to be collected so that the rarity is even higher. Like if everybody gets a menu, what do I want a menu for? I want a saucer.
Sometimes it was like a napkin, something, again, that's tangible, physical, that won't disintegrate over time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think we're talking about people investing more heavily in experiences, tangible things that I can have that you can't have. Because, again, everybody can take a photo of something and it's just not as meaningful.
Yeah.
I remember, some of my most prized possessions are stuff that I stole in Japan.
Sure. Yeah. No.
Literally, I have a sign of a comedian in Tsukiji Fish Market when it was there. I climbed on 2 trash cans, I stacked them up, and I jumped up and I just pulled down this giant poster from the top of the entrance to Tsukiji Fish Market. Like everyone thought I was I don't even know what they thought I was doing.
They're just too polite.
It's now at Kabawa in the back room, and it's faded. It's like one of my prized possessions.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see more and more of this.
I hadn't thought about it, but I think you're right. It's like it is that tangibility. The market is glutted with like photos of a dinner I had, like that don't have any significance or meaning or value anymore. I do think there is something about like the object that is meaningful.
And it's not even the fact that, I'm not even talking about restaurant tchotchke stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just think one of the more interesting things is culturally, things that you can have that no one else can have that have a limited amount of production value, right? It's the same reason people collect wine. We should talk to a bunch of wine collectors, or bourbon or scotch, right? That's a whole different world. How do you get into that? I think that's something that we should talk to people that have been doing it. But running parallel to this conversation about like collectibles in restaurants, I think that we have a mutual friend that is, whether people realize it or not, that is a pretty serious card collector. Yeah. And if you can't make the correlation or the mental jump from, these things that are relatively meaningless but have a lot of value, then this is maybe not the podcast for you.
We're going to talk to him anyway, though.
Yes. And we're going to, what are we calling him?
Today, his name is Jerome.
Jerome?
Yes. Jerome was joining us today. Jerome is
We're going to skip a little bit to about 1848. So we'll pick it up here, and David talks about collecting cards.
Will be something that, becomes a trend around the world. It's classist. It's a lot of things, but mostly it's inaccessible. And I used to collect baseball cards, and the reason I'm bringing it up is if we're going to do major demoing, we're talking about things that anybody can theoretically do. And I think collecting baseball cards or basketball cards, to a degree, we should talk to somebody that's a Pokemon expert or Magic the Gathering. Because what's amazing about it is the barrier of entry is like really affordable and cheap, right? But the game sometimes feels like it can be rigged. But what makes it to me an interesting proposition is that theoretically anybody.
Yeah. Maybe low barrier of entry, high barrier for success, but like fully within grasp. Like you could luck out.
Yeah, but like anything, whether you're collecting stamps, what's a stamp collector called?
A philatelist.
Yeah, whatever that is. Put them on the no-fly zone. I collected baseball cards and comic books, but nobody told me, oh, this is how you store it. You might have had some plastic books, but no one says like the temperature or, usually it was a shoebox.
Yeah.
Right? I knew comic books to at least put it in a plastic bag, but nobody told me that the corners and all of the care.
Yeah, nor did I ever think, I thought like, oh, this comic book is worth $16 now. I never occurred to me be like, it might be worth $1,600 if you just like are cool about it. Just like take care of it.
And something happened along the way when it became not just a hobby, but big business.
Big business.
Right? And I think it's interesting to talk about these cultural hobbies that can become theoretically a full-time job and quite lucrative. And that's why we brought our friend Jerome here. There's so many sides to this individual that...
So I think it's enough of the clips so you guys get an idea. Those are some of the areas that I thought was most interesting. Definitely go check it out. It's on Spotify for free. You need to sign up. It's free to sign up. And then I'm going to show you here some interesting things that I thought he brought up is like scarcity and rarity. That's a big thing that we talked about on my channel. Accessibility. It's a little harder now just because buying wax, which is kind of the start, is expensive, but you can still get wax from Target or Walmart for $25-$30. So it's probably a little harder for a kid to get into anymore. But I wanted to share this, get this out there. I think it'll help the card hobby if this picks up some steam, because it's just another famous person that is talking about cards and collectability that I thought was really interesting about people collecting things from a restaurant. The first part of the interview or discussion, they were talking about Instagram photos. If you want to watch that. Anyways, catch y'all later. Peace.